Man, it felt good, man. You know, Phoenix Faithful was in the building.
Suns just got their 60th win. They clinched the best record in the NBA, and yet I'm saying they're still being overlooked? How could this be?
Should the Suns be the favorites to win the West?
Look, I'm not saying the Phoenix Suns are for sure going to win the West. Look, the Milwaukee Bucks, when they were both the best team in 2019 and 2020, lost in the playoffs and did not win the Eastern Conference. So it could happen for the Phoenix Suns. But why are we acting like they're not the favorites?
You know what, Molly? No, I got to go with Memphis.
Man, Memphis has had a crazy jump this season, man. Last season, they were in the play-in. This season, they're about to play the team that's in the play-in as the second seed. That's going to be insane to see, man. That's honestly going to be insane. What a jump. And I do think the Memphis Grizzlies can beat whoever they're facing in the playoffs. But it's like, let's not act like the Suns are the favorites here. Come on.
No disrespect to the Phoenix Suns, but I just look at this Memphis Grizzly team and I just tell people they're a bunch of young guys with old souls.
What does that mean exactly? It sounds like he's coming up with the weirdest justifications on the fly to try to make his takes. I know Perk's been a Grizzlies guy throughout the season. I know he's been saying Ja Morant this, Ja Morant that. I get it, man. They've been sensational. They beat the Brooklyn Nets in a fantastic fashion. And that's been without Ja Morant. And now you go to Phoenix. They've played games without Chris Paul. Last night they played with Chris Paul finally returning. And Devin Booker's been a difference maker all throughout these last 16 games.
Last night, Booker scored his 11,000th point. He is the fourth youngest player to do so, only behind LeBron, KD, and Kobe. Roz, why do you think Booker's not getting as much MVP love, and do you think he deserves it?
So this clip right here from ESPN NBA Today was done the day that the Phoenix Suns were going to face the Denver Nuggets. And so he didn't score 49 yet. You know, people weren't talking so much on Twitter about how Devin Booker deserves to be in the MVP conversation outright. So before all that chatter started happening, there was a sentiment that was agreed upon by many in the media and people and fans all over that we just need to give Devin Booker more love, right? We need to give him more shine.
And oh, by the way, let me put the world on notice. We got an MVP discussion. Isn't it time to give Devin Booker some love?
I mean, the odds makers have it Devin Booker going 8th in the MVP voting? Are you kidding me? That's crazy, man. That's absolutely insane. And that's part of the problem.
Well, first of all, I think in general, Devin Booker deserves more love.
This is where I have to give her credit, man. She gives Devin Booker his flowers. And part of what she's trying to explain in this video is how she sees people feeling about Devin Booker. Why she thinks they're overlooking him. But then she injects her opinion into this, like we all do. And that's where I'm starting to get a bit concerned because she's part of the problem too.
And I do think that, yes, he should be in the larger conversation of MVP because he is the best player on the most dominant team in the NBA right now.
He's averaging over 26 points a game, mind you, okay, with over 5 assists, okay, and just over 5 rebounds. So, mind you, this is him doing this in the best team. So he's the best player right now with the best statistics, doing this on the best team in the league. As this tweet says, this should be enough for Devin Booker to win MVP. Hopefully this video here is enough for me to earn your subscribe. Please, just do it. It's that simple. I don't know. Please, just give me a shot.
I think a knock against Devin has been perhaps is Chris Paul, maybe not the biggest scorer, but is he the most impactful or best player on that team? Chris Paul has been out and injured. Suns keep winning. I think that helps Devin Booker's argument for MVP.
Now this argument I understand, right? They're 11-4 without Chris Paul this season. But in games that Devin Booker has played without Chris Paul, they're 8-3. And in games Devin Booker hasn't played, they're 8-3 as well. So you could see this team, a lot of their success. I mean, they're just able to win games without their star players. But how is that a knock on Devin Booker's case for MVP? How? When Ja Morant was being paraded as an MVP candidate, they didn't talk about that being a knock on his candidacy.
But Cassidy, if I'm gonna be honest, I think there's real reasons why he's not like a top contender for this MVP award. First of all, he doesn't have the statistical dominance, which is an important part of this award. He's not a top 10 scorer. I mean, he's not even a top 45 assist maker.
Before she said this, Devin Booker was actually 11th in scoring. So even with that argument, come on, man, he's right there in the list. But now after this 49-point performance against the Nuggets, he is 9th in scoring. So it's a very fluid situation. Devin Booker can easily be in the top 10 scoring list by the end of the season, especially when he keeps this up. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. He's doing this with the best record in the league. And his stats, you may not think they're dominant, but they're pretty up there with the MVPs we've seen past years.
Yeah, I think it's a style of play. You know, he's not a high-flying dunker like Giannis or a flurry of threes like Steph. He's an excellent player, but the style of play might get overlooked.
That makes no sense. I don't know where she came from with that one. Giannis' style of play keeps being criticized as the reason why he shouldn't be over guys like Kevin Durant and LeBron James. It's so annoying to hear this nonsense coming from her mouth. If you've watched any game with Devin Booker featured in it, his style of play is beautiful to watch. I don't know what this means. And Curry's season hasn't been nearly as good as Devin Booker's season.
I don't think he has the overall importance to his team in a way that Jokic does for the Nuggets. What happens to the Nuggets if Jokic isn't there?
Oh my God, this is one of those things that I can't help but feel bad for the Suns franchise because they're built in such a beautiful way. They're so perfectly built in a way to where it actually becomes a flaw in terms of evaluating the individual performances or achievements.
And I think he doesn't have the same impact on both ends of the court, which for me, if I was an MVP voter, I'm looking at the full game, not only offense, but defense.
What? I guess she's looking at Mikal Bridges and all of his defensive highlights and thinking, well, he's the main reason why they're good on that end. No, Devin Booker's part of that too, right? He's improved as a defender. He's averaging the most steals he's averaged in his career this season. He's averaged the most blocks that he's had in his career this season. Like, he is playing at an all-time level on that end. His facilitating has gotten better. I mean, this is insane. He's averaging almost 2 steals a game since the All-Star break without Chris Paul.
When they gave it to mailman. That's the argument they used when they gave it to Steph Curry over LeBron, or they gave it to KD over LeBron. The best player on the best team. That was the argument they used when they gave it to Steve Nash over Shaq.
And I know this season has been anything but normal. There's a lot of interesting things that we've seen from different players in the conferences. It's really insane that the MVP race is so tight and there's so many players we can name in the conversation. Devin Booker should be one of those players because in 5 of the last 7 seasons, the MVP has gone to the best player in the best team.
They say the best player on the best team is the MVP. Now Devin Booker is the best player, leading scorer on the best team, and now he ain't getting nothing.
I think part of it is not just that we're seeing players play at an unprecedented rate with Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis just dominating on that end. Big mans have returned, right? But we're also seeing a Suns team. I mean, they're a smaller market than teams like the Lakers. But even the Grizzlies are being talked about more than them.
They lay as crickets. And like he said, they seem to change the criteria to meet whoever they want to get the MVP.
But not only are the Suns as a team being overlooked for multiple reasons, but we're also seeing criteria changing constantly. The narratives keep shifting for whatever player it is. Devin Booker was right when he tweeted at IT. Yeah, the criteria keeps changing depending on who you're talking about. And I think Devin Booker's spot on here. He's had 3 All-Star appearances to his name, but the first 2 was due to him being an injury replacement, right? That latest All-Star appearance that he had, the first time that it wasn't Adam Silver that selected him.
And you guys combined for 23 assists in this game. 13 for Chris, and you had 10.
Yeah, man, I know how bad he's been wanting to be out here. I've been watching him work. I've been watching him do all of his sprints. So, it's good to have him back, right in time to get ready for, what we're going to go after.
Regardless, though, we cannot deny how great this team is right now. They are hungry. They tasted defeat in the biggest stage. And now they're trying to, repeat what the Spurs did in 2014. A redemption arc that we may see complete in them winning a championship. That's what the Suns are really after here, right? They could talk about them being MVP. Mikal Bridges could be Defensive Player of the Year. James Jones could be Executive of the Year. Monty Williams could be Coach of the Year. In my opinion, Monty Williams should easily win Coach of the Year, right? If you're not going to give as much credit to Chris Paul or Devin Booker because, they've been able to win games without him, then you better give Monty Williams that Coach of the Year award because at this point, I've had enough. At this point, it just seems like Phoenix is being overlooked solely because it's Phoenix, and they're not as appealing as another place. They're not as exciting to watch as the Memphis Grizzlies, and they're not as young as them as well. So it's not fresh, it's not new. But what we're seeing out of Phoenix is just steady, consistent winning. And they're trying to win it all, folks. It's going to be scary to watch. Any team that's facing them, I'd be scared for them. And I personally, I'm going to apologize to all of the Suns fans out there. I'm guilty of this too. I did not cover the Suns at all this season. I only covered them when they lost to the Grizzlies. And so I was praising the Grizzlies more often than the Suns in that game. Oh my, I don't know. The Suns, it's so easy to overlook them. I've realized this. And I've noticed this for a while now. And I'm just glad I've been able to get this out there. And hopefully more people are going to see just how great this team is. By the way, the video that's on your screen right now, YouTube thinks that you'll like it. Go ahead and check it out. Especially if you like what you've seen here today. I will say though, Ross, she's a fine lady. She was really fine. Like, oh, wow. Have my children.